I will butcher it, but I'll give it a go.
All right.
Hi, my name's Andrew Harvey. I'm here with Dirkjan Bussink, and we are talking all things Ruby and RubyConf. Well, we wanted to talk a little bit about you to begin with, and specifically, how did you come to become part of the Ruby community and start using Ruby as a programming language?
Um, I've been doing programming somewhat since high school. Started with BASIC in a really crappy way that maybe other people can relate to. But I actually started doing Ruby later on when I was studying at university, and I did some freelancing on the side for a company that actually started a new project that was using Rails. I think it was like the Rails 1.1 days probably. So it was very young. Ruby was not definitely in the place it is now, but it actually, I think it was around 2006, 2007 somewhere. I think it's 2006. So that's where I kind of got into Ruby. Having worked with some Java stuff in PHP, I found it a huge improvement over that, basically because in Java everything was complicated, in PHP everything was a mess. That was at least, well, that was also maybe partly my problem as a programmer, but back in those times. But it also felt that there was some a different vibe to Ruby and a different way of doing things that really I really liked. It was the first time I got into contact with doing things like proper testing development, that kind of stuff. So during those times, actually, at one point we went to RailsConf in Berlin. I think that was 2007, and there I saw Evan Phoenix talk about Rubinius, and I really, I think I still remember one of the graphs he had where it was like this total nonsense with, performance, basically a turtle versus a rocket ship versus Rubinius, and of course the last one was winning. But I thought it was really interesting that there's actually a lot of potential for, Ruby can be faster, Ruby can be better, a lot of stuff. About a lot of the bad rep about Ruby is also a problem with implementation and not per se always with the language. So that's kind of what got me interested in seeing, okay, what can be done there. That kind of got me into Rubinius. They've had a very open commit policy, very open. That was like the days before even GitHub. I think we actually used Git already, but it was not on GitHub, but on some private server somewhere. There was no pull requests, all that kind of stuff. So it was really, if you had a patch accepted, you got commit access, and you could just push stuff to the repository. And I think that was really great, as in it really made you feel welcome to the team, welcome to contribute, and I've contributed ever since. Mostly interested in making things, about Ruby faster and better, better concurrency, better performance, better GC, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. So I suppose you have a unique perspective on Ruby as a language, but we're still really interested. What is it, and you actually also have touched on it a little bit, but what is it that excites you about Ruby as a language?
I like how expressive it is, how you can do nice things without having to write too much code around stuff. It gives you, great flexibility. It's but it's also, it's a double-edged sword. With great with great power comes great responsibility. So I've also done and also seen a lot of things that how you can abuse that power. But I think in a sense, I think it's a good thing for a programming language to offer you that, and not have to do a lot of ceremony around things, but actually more focus on the problem and say, okay, this is what I want to write, and this is what I can concisely do with this language. And I love that about Ruby.
Cool. Now, looking forward to your talk, well, actually looking forward and backward, what was it that inspired you to write and submit this talk?
Well, over the last, I think, 2 years even, or maybe even more, I don't know. like I've done a lot of stuff on concurrency in Rubinius. So a lot of stuff where like we removed the global interpreter lock, which we had back in the days. The good side is the good point about it was we had a global interpreter lock, but internally the system was designed in a way that removing it was not a huge effort. No global state, nothing of those kinds of problems, and so I did a lot of stuff on that, and a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in my talk actually come from that. So what are the things we had to do in Rubinius to make your program not crash if you run it concurrently, which is a good feature to have if you say, okay, our application, our virtual machine can use all your CPU cores in your system, but it will crash. Well, that's not a very useful feature then to have. So a lot of things come from that. I've worked on the garbage collector to make that concurrent, which also involves a bunch of these different patterns and different ideas that you have to focus on and you have to think about when you're actually trying to write concurrent code. But well, you want to write concurrent code, but you don't want to lock around everything, because if you're going to lock around everything, then you replace the global interpreter lock with a lot of fine-grained locks, and well, you still need them, but you want to have as few fine-grained locks as you can get away with, not to create bottlenecks in the system that just make it grind to a halt. I don't know if you know about Amdahl's law. I don't know if that says you anything, but it's basically it's about how if you make something, like if you have something that if you go from one thread to two threads, it is not twice as fast, but only like 1.5 times as fast. That actually puts like a formal upper limit on how concurrent you can make something, because it's 1.5, but if you then turn it up to 4 threads, it's probably going to flat out. I think if you have 1.5 at the factory, you can never get beyond like 2 or 3 times performance improvement. I don't know the exact numbers, but that's basically the thing where if you want to scale stuff up to parallelism, you basically want to work very hard to make that scaling factor as linear as you can get it.
Right. Excellent. So for people as they leave your talk at the end, what is it that you want them to take with them?
I want them to take with them that concurrency is still a hard problem, but it's also a thing that's not going to go away. Everybody has multiple cores in their systems these days. There's CPU designs about hundreds of cores, so it is a problem. And I think that if we want Ruby to be relevant in that world, we as the Ruby community have to make decisions about that and have to think about that. And starting that, like helping to start or helping to foster that conversation is something I want to. That's something I want people to take away with them. That this is something that, as a community, we should care about, think about, and do something about.
Cool. And finally, and more broadly around the conference, are there any talks that you've seen on the schedule that you're really looking forward to getting to yourself?
To be honest, I haven't looked that close yet. I usually it's not a single track conference. I usually like them because it's easy to get yourself exposed to a lot of different things, and I always get into the situation with multi-track, like, oh, I want to see that, but I also want to see that. So I haven't taken it, of course there's the keynotes, but so yeah, there's not, I don't have a, at least I don't remember it. I probably looked at the schedule before, and so I'm just going to cheat here and take a quick look if there was anything that, well, there's some stuff, about things that I think Ruby can have better tools for. So stuff we want to try with Arrhenius to work on is like better debugging, better profiling. So usually talks like that is something that I'm interested in, and that's basically about seeing, okay, is this something that this a problem that we have in Ruby that we need better tools for, or is it something that we need to educate people on, or what is the situation here? So yeah, those are some of the. And there's actually talks about like concurrent programming in Ruby. So I'll definitely see that and see how what their view is on topics, and if there is something that you can learn from each other there.
Thank you so much for your time, and
No problem.
we'll see you in Miami.
Okay, see you in Miami.